Good morning, evening, afternoon. Masati here on Victoria Island. It's quite beautiful here, and we're doing a little get together, private get together here. You can see got the little cabins, beautiful, beautiful space around here. Beautiful weather, actually, quite beautiful. Perfect for Father's Day, huh? All right. In the future, we'll do we'll do more and more events. More smaller events like this where we can get together and really get deeper into the XI, raising that XIQ, exponential intelligence quotient. Today, though, happy Father's Day to all those individuals. Today, on Moss on Sunday, we're talking about fatherhood, passing down frequency, not wounds, because that's what we do, right? In today's reality, we just pass down genetically, even not just mentally, but genetically, all the distorted fractures of who we are as humans, and then we wonder why society is the way it is. Right? Especially with the more masculine leaders out there. There's a lot of women that go, "Well, we need women leaders out there." Women are just as fucked up as the men as well. So it doesn't really matter. It's the reason why is because we're passing down wounds, not frequencies. But what if fatherhood? What if fatherhood was never about providing or protecting? That's just a small piece. That's just 2% of what it's about, but about transmitting frequency. It's about sending frequency. Now, some of you who are new might go, "What the hell is he talking about?" Okay, raise your hand, or not raise your hand, comment in on those individuals who've changed through exponential intelligence. Okay, doing the work, doing the 10 days, the 10 days that we're doing now, or private sessions, or anything else. You've changed, and then your kids change. You've changed, and your spouse has changed, or you've disconnected from them because it's not working. So again, that's the frequency. What most people do, again, Joe Dispenza, gosh, Bob Proctor, all those great individuals, they change your mental mindset, which is totally fine. But then that doesn't pass down in your lineage. It doesn't edit your DNA. The only way to change that is through frequencies, and not just normal energy frequencies, that spiritual people talk about. It's about inception frequencies, and that's only particular to, say, exponential intelligence. So we'll talk about science some other time, but on this special Father's Day edition of Masati on Sunday, Life Explained, I'm diving into what really means to embody XI fatherhood, not as a role, but as a resonance. Again, most men, or most humans actually, but most men pass down unresolved pain, distorted masculinity, and pressure to perform. Each generation, it gets stronger. It gets more painful. But there's another path, one that's rooted in frequency, integrity, emotional sovereignty, and masculine remembrance. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So today we'll uncover how to release inherited wounds of your father's line, stabilize your family without control. There's a different way of controlling individuals. And again, that's the secret of, say, nature, the secret of natural intelligence. It doesn't force control on you. It doesn't command that there's, army posts in, I don't know how many hundreds of countries that are out there, U.S. Army posts out there. It takes way too much. It takes way too much power. It takes way too much resources. But what if you could build people up? They'd naturally want to be controlled by you, right? Like, if you can set somebody free to be their pure potential of who they are, they would naturally want to be controlled by you, because it's not control. It's just not control. And that's what XI literally is all about, not just about fatherhood. But again, you can stabilize your family without the distorted control that we have. You build consciousness lineage instead of survival legacy. right? And we'll be talking about this deeper. Instead of survival legacy, where you're just handing, you worked your ass off, you worked your ass off, worked your finger to the bone, you sacrificed pretty much everything you had, including the love for the family that you're supposed to protect and save, and you made a ton of money, and then you leave that money behind, and then those families are broken, distorted. Alex put me on to this movie. I think it's an Apple series, Friends and Family. I think, or no, wait, Family. No, Friends and Neighbors. Pretty much, that's how, say, leaving a legacy works. It's crazy, the storyline. It's interesting, but the some of the things that he talks about really totally say not XI, or the opposite of XI, and that's what XI is about. Again, resolving distorted versions of, say, leaving a legacy or leaving wealth behind or being in wealth. Okay. Again, so we build a conscious lineage that gets passed down along with the money. How many of you, by the way, have been in wealthy families, and then you can see the distortion of the wealth coming through? How many of you have been in poor families and you can see the distortion of, say, poverty coming through? Right? How many of you have been in super spiritual families and you can see the distortion of that? I was going to say bullshit, but bullshit coming through. What the hell? It's my show, right? So again, it's not about spirituality. It's not about the lack of or a lot of money. It's about the frequencies behind that. We need to understand that. A lot of quantum physicists are actually understanding that, hey, it's not the medicines out there. It's not the better solutions. It's the frequency behind the medicines and solutions. So, all right. So we build a conscious lineage, and then we evolve, and what it means to evolve, what it means to be an XI father, whether you are one or not. Because, the true father isn't the one who provides the most. Uh, he's the one who literally transmits the cleanest signal, which is the highest form of what you want to provide. Everything else starts to work out better, making ends meet, making money, having money, and everything else. So let's go ahead, take a deep breath in. We'll give you tips and tricks on tips and tricks on what you can do as well. If you've had a father, if you are a father, whether your father is here or not, passed away, we'll get on that as well. All right. But first, I want to talk about, a couple things. The weaponized divorce courts, right? So XI Fatherhood, the systems that silence the masculine. And this is what's happening currently, in the world. It's always been happening. It's crazy. I went through it myself, the weaponized divorce courts against fathers. Okay. So, and maybe it started out proper, but today it's just bullshit, right? So again, we've been told that the courts are here to protect the child and keep things fair, right? But I went through this process, guys. Here's the truth. Divorce courts are not neutral. They're financially incentivized to separate fathers from their children. Okay. Let me correct that. They are incentivized depending on who has the most money. Okay. So again, it's not even about fathers anymore, but whoever has the most money will get demonized. Simple as that. Simple as that. Again, it's not about fathers or mothers now, but back in the day, it started because back in the day, obviously, the men had the money. They were the financial providers, right? And again, back in the day, it was, probably, for good. That, but now they use it as a system, just like what I said back, just like what I've said, where anything benevolent will soon turn into, say, corruption, distortion, and will destroy humanity versus help humanity. This is another example. Again, it's about separating the children from the person that provides nowadays. The longer the conflict, right? You've seen this. The longer the conflict, the more the system profits. Attorneys win. Judges get paid. They're not just there just for the benevolence. They're not just there to serve out justice. The states collect. The more that they can have the father pay, they get their pensions. They get so much funding from the states, and the states collect from the government. Again, that's how they work. So again, uh, fathers, where do the fathers come in? They lose. They pretty much lose everything. They lose their time identity, they lose their access, and sometimes, well, they'll keep going and going until everything is gone. So even, we got a plane overhead, but even good men who show up, like me, right, taking care of all the kids, taking financially and emotionally and everything else, even good men who show up are treated like they're guilty until they're proven broke. And that's the way the system works. It's like, hey, I got no more money. Like, okay, you're done. It's crazy shit, guys. And because in these systems, your character isn't what matters. Your value in the algorithm. Again, it's all an algorithm. That's why AI is so intelligent. It picks up on algorithms the most efficient way. The courts have figured out, hey, what's the most efficient way to suck the money out of these families and destroy them? Okay? And it's even worse when your child goes into custody, or where your child gets into, say, the system. It's not there to protect them. It's there to destroy them. It's crazy. I've seen so many of you, pulled your child out of the system, and then they start to get healed, because their therapists are all based on what I just talked about. So basically, all it is how much can we extract from this person, this man, in child support, in legal fees, and compliance penalties. This isn't just an illegal issue, it's frequency warfare. Okay, because when a father is removed from a child's life, the entire family field collapses. Right? The child feels it, the mother carries it, no matter how much money she gets, and the lineage inherits it. Right? And that's the problem. That's the problem of society that we have to fix. All right, moving on. The absent father narrative. Absent father narrative, well, it's mostly basically manufactured. Okay, now don't get me wrong. I know there's a ton of fathers that they have a kid and they disappear. Okay, but again, back in the day, there might have been a reason for it. Now they just keep perpetuating that scenario, and it gets worse and worse. The world says men walk out, they don't care. But that's not really the whole story. Again, most of the time, I've worked on kids, the kids, the father, the mother, and most of the time, again, that's not the whole story, guys. Most so-called absent fathers weren't absent by choice. Okay, obviously there are men like that. Okay, but again, most absent fathers weren't absent by choice. They were pushed out by court orders. They're pushed out by not feeling their emotions, and I'll get into that. But again, they're pushed out by court orders, custody traps, and cultural distortion. And then shame for leaving. That's the problem. There's shame for leaving, and it's just an end. It's just a downward spiral. Okay, let's call it what it is. It's basically erasure rebranded as abandonment. When the father is gone, the system gets to step in and play hero. Think of it. When the father is gone, system comes in, they become the provider, they become the protector, they become the parent. So it's not just support, it's replacement. And the deeper truth, when a boy or even just a girl grows up without a father, they don't just miss a parent, they miss the primary model for masculine frequency. Why do you think there's so many, say, gender, say, distortions there? A lot of men got lost in wars. A lot of men got pushed out. A lot of men got, say, silenced, right? Either through the mother, through the court system, through the culture, whatever it is. And as they go out, They don't provide. They don't that they might provide financially or not, but the deeper version of that is they don't provide, say, an avatar. So that he goes out searching for power, for control, for something to fill that invisible hole. And that's where many, it's like Andrew Tate, a lot of those individuals go, what the hell's going on? And then they start creating things on their own. So, what he really needed, though, what that child really needed was a man who held resonance, not rules. Right. And this is where the military. Have you noticed that the military gets more and more precise? You know, the Navy SEALs, the Green Beret, and all that. Those are all those. They stem. They literally stem from not being having trauma that didn't get resolved, so they put it into uh, war arenas. Right? A lot of men, a lot of young men, they go into the Green Berets, they go into Navy SEALs. They come out more broken than ever before. Right? Take a look at the statistics. Don't trust me. Always do your own research. Take a look at their statistics. It's crazy. Getting into programs on on helping those young men actually resolve their childhood trauma so they can get the benefit of what they learned in the Navy SEALs and other military aspects. All right, the next one, fatherhood and emotional suppression. Who benefits? Okay, so let's talk about the myth that real men don't feel. How many of you heard of that through the process, right? Real men don't feel. That strength means silence, that if you cry, you're weak, right? We've all heard it. I've heard that. And that's tough, right? Right from the get go. You just literally, it's castration, simply. Literally, it's emotional castration. So, what does that belief system benefit? Or who does that belief system benefit? Well, it's not you, it's not your child, and it's not your family. Right? Suppressed emotions doesn't make you strong, it makes you programmable. Think of it. They do that in the army, by the way. Right? If you can't express your emotions, and women are getting into that. Hey, we want to be just like men. Like, why? Right? We want to be strong women. We talked about that last month. A man who can't feel, they're easy to manage, they're easy to tax, and easy to sedate. Right? Pharmaceuticals, they love emotionally suppressed men. So does religion. So does corporate hustle structure. So does the military. Think of it. And just to go deeper, have you ever noticed that over the years, testosterone levels have just like gone down? Well, men with low testosterone, they're easier to manage, they're easier to control as a society, right? Crazy, right? Uh, And this is what we're doing to our genetics. And then the craziest thing is that then uh, these same people go, well, shit, why did God create a system like that? Like, it wasn't God. God let you have free will, right? All right. So because the moments you disconnected, and a lot of guys out there, by the way, who's listening, and even just children overall, okay? If you're a child of a father that was disconnected for no matter what it is, okay? We're not here to justify anything. We're not here to find the reason, but we're here to solve, say, the outcome of whatever happened there. Okay. So take a breath in. Notice the moment. Take a breath in. Just notice your heart space, your solar plex, and then the groin area, especially for those young men or those fathers, right? Even if you're older, when was the moment that you disconnected from your feelings? Right? There usually is a few experiences and then a shutdown where you go, fuck, too hard. I'm just going to turn everything off. When was that moment for most of you out there? Okay. Take a deep breath in. Let's just work on that space as I keep talking. Right? Um, Again, when was the moment that you disconnected from your feeling? Notice how that started to occur for those women who have masculine tendencies, when was the moment when, say, that father figure started to shut down, you felt their pain and you shut down as well? Okay. You took on the internal frequencies that they could not express anymore. Right. If you were a child, when was that moment for you? Yeah. Parents divorce, 94 Nolo saying, uh, frequency castration. So, uh, crazy stuff out there, guys. And then again, we wonder what the hell is wrong with us. It's like, well, we're using our genetics wrong, right? Okay, you started again mistaking pressure for purpose. You start thinking pain is proof of progress, and that's where honor is tied in, right? In today's world, the more honor you have is dictated by how much pain you've gone through for whatever you've achieved. That's what honor is nowadays. Again, the more pain that you've gone through to achieve whatever you've accumulated, the more honor there is into it, right? The more bloodshed that there has been, right? And then you saved yourself, the more honor that you have, right? The more you can abuse yourself, the more you can abuse yourself, take the burdens of society, the more honor you have. That's not the way natural intelligence defines honor. My book that's coming out, Lexicon of Power, redefines all those things into not my definitions, but natural intelligence, the way the universe, say, defines those emotions. So they told men, right? They told men to bottle up, to stay silent, to grind through. They call that leadership. That's what leadership, that's what CEOs do, right? That's what military people do. That's what political people do, right? And then they keep forcing others to do the same. And then again, they call that leadership. That's what the motivational psychology group does, right? Anybody that's learned from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, again, Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, Bob Proctor, God, Dennis Waitley just passed away, by the way, super guy. But all those guys, again, derived their teachings from one source, Think and Grow Rich, which is really fantastic. By the way, I'm rewriting Think and Grow Rich. It, not to criticize Napoleon Hill, but go beyond where Hill actually tapped in to access that knowledge, right? Because that's what we need in today's reality, right? But what we're really doing, again, as we redefine all these terms, what we're really doing is we are killing off our resonance. We're killing off who we truly are as a man. Okay? So here's the XI truth. Real strength isn't emotional collapse, and it isn't emotional denial. It's about frequency sovereignty, where you use those emotions properly. It's knowing how to feel without, say, leaking. It's how to lead without suppressing. It's how to be present without pretending. The healed father doesn't just protect his children, he transmits truth. He stabilizes because he's stable. It's not fake. He stabilizes timelines. And that's where you come out as a strong father. And he breaks cycles with coherence, not control. All right. So let's take a deep breath in. All right. Again, when did you shut down? Or when your fatherhood, when your father shut down, when did you shut down? Okay. XI Fatherhood, passing down frequency, not wound. Again, this is the meat of this MOS on Sunday. Section 1, what society scratched the surface on about fatherhood, but didn't get it right. Again, they just scratched the surface. So society, honored fathers for providing and protecting. It ignored something far more important, their frequency transmission. Talked about what frequency is in XI definitions. Okay, men were taught how to perform, not how to resonate. They literally molded men, young boys, into um, uh, 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 they molded young men into just emptiness, really emptiness. So masculinity, really, a hard shell, basically, um, an armor, and then that guy, that human, died inside that armor. Right? Masculinity got reduced to output under pressure instead of presence and power. I'll say that again. Masculinity literally got reduced to output under pressure. Right? Instead of the presence of the man. Right? You've seen men like that, right? Not very few, not a lot, but very few. The guy just walks in. It's like, damn, I want to follow that guy. Right? The women go after them, no matter how old the guy is. The children, go, damn, that's a cool father, right? So again, fatherhood, it became a role to play instead of a frequency to hold. And that's really the key. So this is about bringing in, say, the true resonance. The XI Woman series that Faye is doing, even if you're a guy, the XI Woman would be fantastic because it re-nurtures you if you haven't had, say, the right mother role. Okay. Section 2 is the real role of a father. Okay. Again, the real role of a father is what? It's a frequency transmitter. Right? He stays as an icon. And as that icon, he controls the reality around him. Right? Not by, demonizing, by force or anything, but by coherence. Okay. So the truth is that every father imprints more than physical DNA. He imprints how people run through time, how his kids and society, especially if he's a leader, runs through time. If you distort time and space, you distort society. You distort your kids, those kids distort society. Right? Look at today's culture. Look at today's society. Not so advanced. You can tell an advanced society just by looking. If I was an alien, came in and I'd look at the rules, the signage, um, you know, and you'd see how simplified the signage has come. Like, stop for pedestrians. Why would we need a sign like that? It should just be obvious in all the dumb signs that are out there. Comment in on, say, some of the dumb signs that you've seen. That should be so obvious as humans, right? Okay. Okay, so when we have laws like that, when we have simplified laws that should be just so obvious, that's the level of, let's say, intelligence that we are in. Okay, take a deep breath in. So if you don't resolve your trauma, your child receives it at a subconscious as subconscious software. That's how XI works. Right? Again, basically what we do is like, shit, what software did you get loaded up as? XI Fatherhood isn't about correcting your children. It's about recalibrating your own signal. True provision isn't material. It's frequency stability, sovereignty, and stillness. There's a lot of kids, or there's a lot of parents that go, "Hey, Moss, my children's fucked up. Can you clean them?" And then, worse yet, your children's are, say, um, their symptoms are basically the distortions of the parents, right? And then the children get sent to therapy, and it's the children's, it's the therapist's, say, resolve to, say, adapt that distorted frequency, okay, or go, hey, you just got to live with it. How many of you have been that way? So when people come to me and go, "Hey, Moss, my children's messed up. Can you work on them?" It's like, yeah, I'll work on them, but it's like, let's work on you as well. And as that and as the parents change, especially if the kids are younger, It's amazing how the kids change automatically. Okay? All right. This is I've got lots of trauma from my alcoholic father and the beatings. Yep. It's time to let that go. Uh, Again, just reading you, you've done enough XI where the frequency is done, but the memories are still in you, the psychological aspect. So that you need to say shift, and you need to say come into say another resolve psychologically. Again, this is where motivational psychology would help you. Okay, because again, you basically are going, Mel. The way you're doing it is like, well, I'm going forward, but I have no structure because of what happened to you in the past. So what you do is you go back and go, well, since I have no structure, I'll go back to the past. Again, just go forward. You'll get lost. You'll feel the emptiness of yourself, and then that's where you truly heal. Okay, you can't repeat those patterns anymore. Not with XI. All right. Section 3. Why men pass down wounds instead of wisdom. Well, like I was saying before, most men never get to see their father's essence. Only his exhaustion, his expectations, or his eruption, or his silence, or lack, or again just being disconnected. Even if he was there, even if he was present, he wasn't there. So what happens is when a man suppresses emotion, it becomes a replication, or say a mirror image of that. So what's unspoken becomes inherited legacy, inherited. And this is where, say, the legacy, legacy without frequency, it's just a repetition without evolution. This is where humanity cycles down. This is where Ray Kurzweil, uh, this is where Ray Kurzweil says technological singularity, because we're repeating cycles downwards. We're not evolving to release. I'm glad that helped you. Mel. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of you, by the way, it's not just Mel. A lot of you, okay, do the XI work, but then you don't have the success mechanisms. Okay, you've totally cleaned out your slate, but again, you need the psychology. You need the psychology. You need the success mechanisms. Otherwise, you'll go, I'm an empty shell. I don't know what to do anymore. And if you don't know what to do, your old patterns, you start to say, go, well, I remember. Again, and notice, Mel, and many of you others, okay, it's like, oh, I remember how I was treated. It's like you have to force yourself to go back and feel the wounds and so on. And many of you go, it's really hard to do. How many of you gone that way, by the way? It's like you try to go back, but you can't, because you can't go back with XI. Exactly. 94 no. I feel like a blank slate now after XI. That's perfect. Right. So in that case, you cleaned yourself out of frequency. There is no, say, underlying structure. There is no coding for you. That coding should have been there, from 0 to 7 years old, or 0 to 14 years old. Okay, depending on if you're in the gel stage or the liquid stage. I know I'm getting off track, but I think many of you are in that space. So again, when you feel like a clean slate, or you feel like empty or lost and have to say no direction after you've done XI, this is where you start to form a new path, because it's a new path for you. Again, I'll say it again. It's a new path for you. So obviously things are going to feel awkward. They're going to feel new. Okay. Again, very important. You just keep going down that path. It'll become second nature for you. And as you do, new ideas, new concepts, new emotions, all that will start to fill in. Simple. All right. All right. Again, overall, as we end section 3, kids don't inherit what you teach. They inherit basically the frequency that you resonate at. Basically, they inherit what you avoid. Think of it. This is where a lot of people, it's like they don't show, they don't have, they don't share their problems or their marriage or their situation. They hide it, right? And they just put on a smiley face. And frequency wise, kids are smart. Their frequency behind it is like, why are they my parents lying to me? It's like, oh, that's the way we should do it in society, right? And then they lie to you later on as they get older, and then you get mad at them because they lied to you. Well, you lied to them their whole life. Get it? Okay. All right. Section 4, XI Fatherhood, leading through frequency integrity. It's really the key. Take a breath in. All right. So this is where presence without pressure. That's real leadership. So how do you get to presence without pressure? Well, you go inwards. You clean up your parental wounds. You clean up your generational wounds. You become man enough not to push out, not to squelch, not to distort, but you become man enough, because that's true men, by the way. Elon Musk doesn't do it. Andrew Tate doesn't do it. Jordan Peterson doesn't do it. Any of those, say, leader types that are out there, the Navy SEALs don't do it. They don't go inwards to clean up the bullshit that they've accumulated over time. Okay. Thanks, Neil Bear. Happy Father's Day. Again, they don't go inwards. It's one of the hardest things to do, by the way. That's why XI really, say, creates strong men, strong women as well. But again, in this case, strong men, because we go inwards. We stabilize you so you can become strong enough to go inwards and go, shit, I don't need that shit anymore. I don't need to carry the burdens of the past. Right? That's real growth. That's real evolution. So and this is where you can hold congruence in your field. This is where you just are, right? You reprogram the entire family timeline by just being. How many of you, by the way, how many of you men out there that have been separated from your child, you've changed, and then even without, connecting to your children, especially if they're younger, your children start calling you up and start connecting with you, okay? Men or women, right? Even without that communication, it's like, damn, I need to call my dad. Right? I know right offhand, at least about, half a dozen of my friends, right? They've come through and it's like, oh, hey, my kid called me. He wants to get together with me. It's crazy how that works, right? This one Miss Alice. I wish I wasn't human. Well, Miss Alice, you, the human species, including your spirit, took billions of years to figure out how to be human. Just because the version of human that you see is fucked up, and that's what XI is about, cleaning it up, right? People that run your patterns, Miss Alice, actually come into go, damn, human. Once you understand what human is about, not what humans have become, what human is about, okay? Miss Alice, you go, damn, being human is really cool. It's the most amazing thing ever. Again, you are just getting a bad sample of what humans are. Simple. A lot of individuals like Miss Alice, they go into being cats, or they go into, say, they just disconnect from themselves, and they go, again, they're cat people, they're dog people, they're horse people, right? Because they don't want to be humans. Again, it's not that humans are bad. It's just that human programming has devolved, right? So it's your job, Miss Alice, if I were you, okay, I would go, what are humans supposed to be? And that's why you're probably here. And then you compare. It's like, oh, that's what humans should be. And then you start resonating at that. You start resonating and accepting what humans should be. And as you do that, Miss Alice, what happens? Like, damn, people will start to say, follow you. You don't have to become a teacher or anything. They'll just go, damn, that's what humans should be. And that's how we change the world. Again, not by force, by presence. You reprogram the whole family. If you reprogram the whole family, just think of a father at that level, high frequency. He's out as a CEO. He reprograms all those individuals, the tens of thousands of employees that work for him. Crazy, right? So the XI father doesn't control the house. He stabilizes it. Okay, that's how you really control it. That's how you should control your companies. By the way, that's how you control your countries. not the way we're doing it now. Again, we have so many army bases in so many countries because we have to eavesdrop on everything. That's so much control. You have to know all the details just because it's like, just like the Russians, the Chinese, we have to know everything about everybody so we can still stay in control. It's not fucking control. No, you become earnest, you become solid, you become stable on your own, you fix your own shit. And then everybody else goes, damn, I want that. I want that. And you don't have to have army bases. Look at Cyrus the Great, by the way. A lot of those countries, he didn't even have to fight. It's like, Cyrus, here, take over our country. Because they know that they would keep them stable. Right? That's the kind of leadership that you want to be. That's the kind of father that I'm talking about. In the near future, we'll do XI Man. Right? Again, your frequency becomes your child's inner compass. Your frequency becomes your child's inner compass. So take a deep breath in. Right? Again, for all those who've had fathers, take a deep breath in, or if you are a father, what direction are you, sending your child? Right? And if you had a father, what direction did your father send you down? Okay. Again, don't follow his patterns. Follow the direction of becoming the purest possible self ever. Ask yourself that. Take a deep breath in. Just take a moment of silence. It'll help you reset your frequencies, reset the compass, right, into a new direction. This is where your healing comes through. This is where all those things come through. Okay. All right. So, section 5, healing the lineage without blame. This isn't about blaming your father. It's about reclaiming what he couldn't reach. Again, he might have done his best. He might have not. It doesn't really matter, right? It's literally about, taking the wisdom. That's what XI is about. Taking the wisdom, leaving the wound, and then transmuting the line. Right? You're not just breaking cycles here. You're realigning bloodlines, okay? Bloodline timelines. Masculine healing isn't therapy. It literally is timeline sovereignty. So conscious lineage, building beyond the name. A name isn't a legacy, it's a frequency. It's a frequency. So you can build a company, a brand, a fortune, or a family. But if your signal is distorted, your children inherit the static. And that's what's happened over time. So XI Fatherhood doesn't mean passing down success in a distorted way. It means passing down coherence. Success is part of that coherence. Without the coherence, that success will destroy and fragment the family. If you don't believe me, again, look at society. So we don't need more children repeating the world. We need children who evolve it. Take a deep breath in. This next section is for fathers, sons, and the fatherless. So even if you're not a father, you carry the imprint of one. Your relationship with father shapes how you lead, how you protect, and how you perform. And even if you're not a father. So healing that archetype is what unlocks your access to source authority. So even if you don't have a father, you don't have to heal him. You heal the archetype that was distorted within you of a father figure. This is where, again, if you've lost your father was never around, you lost somehow, it doesn't matter. The archetype of, say, the first principle father, the XI father, is within you. Right? And that's the compass you should, follow. Yeah. XI father, He isn't a man. You follow his frequency. Again, he isn't a man. He's a frequency waiting to be remembered. That remembrance is not outside of you. It's inside of you. Whether it doesn't matter what your father was like. Again, the remembrance of who you were is inside of you. Take a deep breath in. Let's get rid of the cultural castration, if you don't mind. If you're into that, again, getting rid of all that bullshit that fathers have come to be and resetting that. I call it cultural castration, basically. If you've looked at sitcoms nowadays, right? How sitcoms basically crack the surface and basically erase the father. Literally, that's what they've done. So let's talk about that sitcom dad that we all love, right? They're all lovable. They're clueless. They're harmless, but always the fool. Have you ever noticed, no matter how far back you go, right? The father in any of those sitcoms from the past and the present, they're always the fool. Crazy, right? That was the first mass media ritual of fatherhood demotion. Because again, as society, if you can destroy the family, you can control the person. So they crack the surface by making dads relatable, right? We're here to reveal the source, though. It was cultural castration, disguised as, well, comedy. So here's what really happened. Sitcoms made fatherhood visible. And the reason why they did that, again, through, and the way they made them, the way they made them visible was through ineptitude and mockery. From, gosh, from Homer Simpson to Phil Dunphy, right? On Modern Family, father became a punchline, right? Again, notice every sitcom, always the father is a punchline. Society began to expect a masculine figure who was present but powerless. That was all programming. Why? Because when you remove a father's authority, you remove society's natural stabilizer. The state, again, the government becomes the provider. Culture becomes the parent. Right? This is where social media becomes the parent. It becomes the force within that person. It wasn't. It wasn't in. It wasn't entrainment. It was engineering. Just one second. Zenny, just listen. Listen. Take your headphones off. Thanks. My daughter here. Anyway, again, it wasn't entrainment. It was engineering. I deal it with especially my younger daughters, because of society, because of schools. It's like, hey, it's cool. It's not cool. In today's world, it's cool if you have a dysfunction, right? You're not cool if you're normal. Right? Back when I was growing up, being normal was the cool thing. But now, being dysfunctional that's the thing. That's the thing to be, right? You have to have a therapist. You have to have this, right? So, all right. So, let me change this here. So again, it wasn't entertainment. It was basically engineering. So the XI father, he's not the butt of the joke. He's the anchor of presence. He doesn't need to yell. He resonates. He leads from the stage. He leads, but again, not from the TV, not from the stage, but from the still point. Let's take a deep breath in. This is why most men die before their bodies do. Okay? We've gone through a lot here today, guys. And we're not just talking about, mental states here. We literally are talking about getting rid of that bullshit. So if you're feeling heavy, if you're feeling distorted, right? right? Again, that's what's coming off you. We've been told that men die before, men die younger because of stress, because of health neglect. Yeah. The truth is, most men die long before their bodies do. They die when they lose their purpose, when they disconnect from their presence, when their power gets buried under roles they never chose. They cracked the surface with men's mental health. Again, we're here to reveal the source. Men don't need more therapy. They need frequency remembrance. Suppressing pain. And this is where therapy comes, right? You bury it. That's what they're doing to the kids now. You got to bury it, and you got to follow the distortions of your parents. That's not the way it is. That's not the way it works. So suppressing pain doesn't make you strong. It makes you hollow. And when you're hollow, you die a lot earlier. XI Fatherhood is about reclaiming the will to live as the man you were always meant to be. Take a deep breath in. Let's get rid of and notice where these three words resonate in you if you're a father. Provide, protect, perform. What do all those three words have in common? Sacrifice, control, and lack. Literally, provide, protect, perform. Literally, sacrifice, control, lack. That's an old trinity, and it's empty without alignment. And they might have cracked the surface on fatherhood roles to provide, but let's reveal the source. Real legacy, real power, real providing. It's not taught, it's transmitted. Because who you're being is always louder than what you're doing. Right? The future of your family, it doesn't depend on what you build. It depends on who you are while you build it. Really. No matter what you're doing, it's not just fatherhood, right? But again, it doesn't depend on what you build, what you create, what the solution is. It depends on who you are while you build it. That's key. And that's what's distorted reality. That's what's distorted society. All right, let's take a deep breath in. We'll go on to analyzing you guys, scanning you all. I know there's a lot of questions here for you. Thanks, guys, for all the comments. Schools are accessible, and now the behavior issues are off the charts. I know, exactly. Why? Because they're easier to control. Why do you think COVID was around? You fuck up the genetics, you're easier to control, right? All right. This is a profound Masati on Sunday. Thanks, Kay. Okay, so if there's anybody out there that wants me to read them, again, I'm not going to go through the comments, but any new comments? Yeah. So Florence, and we'll talk about, say, the father issues. Okay, Florence, Hamas, can you scan me, please? Sure. So Florence, you basically are being afraid of being you, Florence. You're intrepid. What you do is literally you don't have a strong identity of yourself, and this probably comes from your mother not being solid and secure. Okay, and from there, what happens is, your father feels, say, incomplete, and because of that insecurity or that thought process, okay, from what I'm seeing, Florence, and again, I could be way off from what I'm seeing, but it seems like your father cheated on your mom, and again, and so it makes your mother, say, even weaker, right? And it's a vicious cycle, right? And with that cycle, basically, you grow up to be unsure of who you are as a woman. So again, through the XI Woman series, through what we're doing here in XI, that strong identity will come forth for you. All right. So take a deep breath in. Let's start to say remove the distortions of what a woman is, what a man is. All right. Let's see here. This is Sonia. Lost my dad way too early. Can I get a scan, please? Thank you. Yep, I can feel, say, the emptiness. I might have not picked up, if you lost your dad, but yes, I can feel the emptiness within you, that void. And then what you've done, Sonia, is you've created an identity around that void. Right? When you create an identity around that void, and say you become successful, or say you understand more of who you are, well, the void created your identity. So say again, 1 unit of void, or 2 units of void equal 1 unit of identity for you in this case, right? And so for you, if you want to understand yourself more, say you want to have, say, 2 or 3 units of knowing and understanding who you are. Well, this means that you'd have to have a bigger unit, 6 units of the void for you. This is for you, Tanya, where you will go to healing retreats, healing centers, do all those things, and you go, shit, you know what? The more I understand myself, the more I find myself, why do I feel more empty on the inside? Okay. It's the same pattern for success as well, or anything else. But in your case, again, losing your father, creating that void. Okay. So we need to reframe spatial referencing. We need to reference who you are, not based on the void, okay, but who you are compared to your potential of who you are, your possibilities. And that's what heals the void. And that's where you get to reclaim. By the way, even if you're a woman, you have an archetype of what a true father is. Okay. So that father always, that archetype always lives within you. That's what's really important. All right. So Simon, let's switch that process where you see the possibilities, and then that's where the void heals. Okay. And if I read you, please comment in. I know I'm accurate. I've done this hundreds of, over 100,000 times, but it's nice for people to get, say, physical affirmation. Okay. Amy, my dad had an addiction issue and was an absent father. Again, so what you've done, Amy, is really fantastic. But let's move on. Again, you cracked the surface. Let's go deeper into that. So what you did is basically you isolated yourself. You didn't get pulled into the distortions of the family. Okay, you pulled back, and you created, say, a strong, say, a protective shield around you. Uh, and then from there, Amy, uh, again, this is kind of like that the last person, I think it was Sonia. Basically, the more you find yourself, the more you'll have to pull back from a space. So in this case, you can only go so far, right? In love, you get to a certain point, and it's like, shit, can't go back there because the wall gets thicker and thicker for you. Okay. So what you've done, again, you've pulled away to keep yourself from falling into, say, the trap of your family, which is really fantastic. But let's do it another way. Let's re-reference you, not by, say, the more I get pulled into something, the stronger I become. In this case, it's like, gosh, you know what? The more I come into who my possibilities are outside of my family dynamics, the more I can understand myself, and the more I can, say, move away from the distortions, not just keep pushing on those distortions. Okay. This is was it Tulakes? My father committed suicide. I know he lived all his life in deep emotional turmoil, maybe in different realities. A beautiful person, yes. So, in that case, let's just make sure all those fathers that say died, whether through suicide, through natural death, or through I don't know. There's a different form of death, death that shouldn't have happened, basically, but it's not suicide. Okay. So let's help those fathers. Let's take a deep breath in, because a lot of times, in your case, what happens is this is, let's see, Nirvana. Who's a singer from Nirvana? Um, Cobain, right? Uh, yeah, I forgot his first name. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Kurt Cobain, beautiful person, right? This is basically your father. I don't know if he had talents or not, your father, but Kurt sure did. But basically, those kind of people, okay, what they do is they see the beauty, okay, they see the beauty of what could be, but then they see the harshness of this reality, and the two don't match, okay, and it gets more and more and more painful. Um, Grace. It gets more and more painful. Okay. And as it gets more and more painful, they basically go, God, you know what? It's a lot easier to live in this reality, not this reality. So this is where they commit suicide. Unfortunately, they see the beauty, but then when they cross over, okay, committing suicide, they're not in that beauty space. They get stuck between the two worlds. They get stuck between the two worlds, and it's just a vicious cycle that they keep going. Okay. So they feel the emptiness in that void. So again, not a good thing. So let's clean that up for you. This one, Reem, my dad used to control me before XI. Please scan my dad, MOS. I feel he is really not present at all. No, because again, since you, um, Reem, cleaned up through XI, his identity has gotten lost. So it's actually a great opportunity for him. That's why you feel that he's lost, because his way is basically dominating the women in his life to have an identity. And since you can't be dominated anymore, it's his opportunity for him to go, oh, okay, I can be, say, a real dad. I don't have to go through the cultural standards of what, say, men were about, okay? Which is nice. This one, my father was avoiding. This is Raza. My father was avoiding any family interaction. Could you scan me, please? Yes. And neither do you. You avoid pretty much everything. You avoid your identity, Raza. So in this case, let's pull you back in. Okay. Avoidance for you means success. Okay? And that's basically what this is what you've done as well. You avoid yourself from that, and then uh, also, uh, Reza, let's see. There's a masculine identity. It's like you have a feminine and then a masculine identity behind you. So again, it's that masculine identity, say, is always pushing you. Is always pushing you. Take a deep breath in. Let's clean that up. Oh, there we go. Take one more, and then bring this lovely woman up for you. As a note, by the way, we've got a lot of things coming up. Faye will talk about it. We've got the XI Women series. We've got what else do we got going on?
Well, in August, that's a surprise in August, and Total Human Reset. We want to do it in November or October.
Yeah, we've got Total Human Reset coming up, but not the old Human Reset. We've got so many things, guys, so many new concepts, so many new ideas on Total Human Reset and all that. So, so we've got a lot of new, upgraded, say, and again, it's good for it's good for beginners, the new people here, but then also it's fantastic for, for the XRs. We got the frequency spa coming up. This is Yogi Wan Kenobi. My dad died at a very young age. He had a ton of issues. Yep. And even if they died at a young age, it was, if you were, say, properly raised, those issues would have been, say, left in the grave with him. But a lot of times when, say, fathers die young for whatever reason, they basically, especially if the mother is in trauma, they basically, say, carry that distorted, say, sense of trauma into the child. Okay? Whether the child knew about the father or not, it doesn't matter. So again, hopefully this Masati on Sunday helped clean up a lot of those wounds for you guys. If you're not feeling good, it's a great opportunity. Again, take Father's Day. It's a great opportunity for you uh, to be of your own. It's a great opportunity for you to come into your own. No matter what your father did, it doesn't matter. Okay, if you're listening to this, you're probably old enough to go, yeah, that's what my father did. What would the avatar father within me do? Okay, how can I heal myself to move forward? Okay, it's time to move away from all that. And again, a lot of the XI courses that we have will help you with that. Fefe, come on in. Fefe has some
News?
words of
No,
wisdom.
I have some
Hey guys.
news too. Good morning, good afternoon. Hi, happy Father's Day, everyone. Happy Father's Day.
Thanks, sweetie.
So I was going through some of the questions people sent in on Ask Faye. And some ladies were asking, should I date a man? You know, he's really nice to me, but he's not a good father. And my answer would be absolutely no. And this is the reason why. I think the way a man treat his children or treat any children, it shows a lot of his ability to recognize purity, appreciate truth,
Sure.
and his character as a man. I know he might be very very affectionate, very doting, and wrap around you. It's all about you. But if things get tougher, he may not have the emotional maturity or the spiritual muscle to actually be there with you in crisis. Because children bring you lots of challenges. And children's most wonderful thing ever. And a good father is just very sexy on top of everything else. And same goes for women. Yeah, if a woman is not a good mother, don't date her because she doesn't understand a basic, yeah, basic human elements about love or the deepest human elements about love.
Yeah, nurturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I just have a very quick announcement. Last week I said I would like to, some more download came in. I would like to talk about the second talk with MOS about XI woman journey overview and exploration. It will be this Thursday, I think this coming Thursday on the 19th, 8 o'clock Central Time. That's 8 p.m. Central Time. Um, if you have already registered for the first one, you don't have to register. You'll be in your portal. Maybe later on today, you'll be there. If you haven't registered, you can just register for it online. It's free. And yeah, that's it. Oh, also, if you already registered for the program, we're going to be there to answer all your questions as well. That's it. Happy Father's Day.
Thanks,
Happy
babe.
Father's Day, my love. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll leave you
My
to
two
it.
girls are here and they're just laughing at this hummingbird. It's so
I
cute.
know we have a little nest, this
Yeah,
tiny big,
it's
and
just
there's a
amazing.
little baby bird in it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Again, just that really reminds me. Our cats. One of our cats had babies, and like I was saying before, that she was an amazing mother. She knew exactly what to do, through birth, through nursing them, through now they're a lot older, those kittens, but it's like, where did that intelligence? It wasn't from ChatGPT. It wasn't from whatever out there. It was inherent within her, right? And she did it perfectly. That archetype of being a perfect father, or if you're a child, again, of having a perfect father is within us all. It's built, it's encoded within us. So XI is literally about helping you say, understand that, open that back up for you. No matter what age, you can always heal from those father wounds. All right, guys. Peace. Notice what you notice. Notice the details.